45 of the most remarkable singers in American popular music had come together to record a special song and make a special commitment.
I think I'm a person who takes stands on public issues. I'm always a little confused by the idea of a performer who takes stands on public issues. I must say that I think that people who are in my business have an enormous gift in that we deal with the media, and the media is enormously powerful. And you can use it for entertainment. You can also use it for education and for good. And I think it can be used for all three things at the same time.
Well, I've never felt uncomfortable about exercising my right as a citizen to shoot my mouth off on anything that concerns me. We get to do that in this country. It is certainly true that when I do it, I get a television camera pointed at me, which is an advantage and is perhaps an unfair advantage, but is Jack Kennedy said memorably, whoever said life was fair.
This is what we're here to try to do, is try to help people understand their blunders. South Africa, blunders that we have in our own country as we watch civil rights sort of almost disappear.
Well, I think a performer's career can be affected by his speaking his mind in public politically. I wish that weren't true, but there's something we do in America. If a performer speaks his mind politically and a lot of people don't like it, they try to take his job away. We do that here. We better admit it. We do. We do it over and over.
Yes, Asner, no. Freedom, yes, Asner, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my deep privilege to present Mr. Asner with Whoopi, the 1986 Anne Frank Human Rights Award. It says, honoring Mr. Edward Asner at the national premiere of Human Rights USA in Los Angeles in recognition of his outstanding service to the cause of human rights.
One of the biggest reasons I wanted to speak where I could, to do what I could, was primarily because I feel we have two sources of information, political information in this country: the press, the media, and the government. And I feel all too often they work hand in hand. And one of the only reliefs, deviations from that, is for the performer or the athlete who has a particular idea, a particular cause, to speak out. When those causes are benign, we are constantly used. We are constantly welcome to open our mouths. If they are contrary to governmental opinion or to the media opinion, then we run into trouble. And you got to take your chances. I've always felt chronically stifled and frustrated at not saying more, doing more politically. Most of my life it would agitate me, but I did not act, and particularly during the years of McCarthyism, being a young actor, I kept my silence.
And even if there were only one communist in the State Department, even if there were only one communist in the State Department, that would still be one communist too many.
It was called the McCarthy era. But while the senator from Wisconsin hunted for so-called communists in government, the House Un-American Activities Committee scoured Hollywood with its witch hunt. Actors like Humphrey Bogart and Screen Actors Guild President Ronald Reagan were asked to identify communists or communist sympathizers. Those like Academy Award winner Dalton Trumbo stood on their principles and refused to answer.
Are you or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
I believe I have the right to be confronted with any evidence which supports this question. I should like to see what you have.
Oh, well, you would.
Yes.
Well, you will pretty soon. The witness is excused. Impossible.
This is the beginning
typical
of
communist tactics. Typical communist tactics. Typical communist tactics. Are you a member of the Communist Party? Or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
It's unfortunate and tragic that I have to teach this committee the basic principles of Americanism.
That's not the question. The question is, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
I am framing my answer in the only way in which any American citizen can frame his
Then you
answer to
denied.
that question,
Then
which
you
invades his, absolutely invades
Then
his
you
right.
denied. You refused to answer that question. Is that correct?
I have told you that I will
All right.
offer my beliefs, my affiliations, and everything else to the American public, and they will know where I stand, as they do from what I have written.
Stand away from the stand.
I have written for Americanism for many years, and I shall
Stand away from the stand.
fight for the Bill of Rights, which you are trying to
Take
destroy.
this man away from the stand.
Some went to jail for their beliefs.
I think that actors who choose to speak out publicly on issues of significance or what they perceive to be significant issues are well within their rights. I mean, I'm frequently asked, in effect, you know, what gives you the right to talk about Central America or South Africa or whatever the issue may be, just because you're an actor. You know, the United States Constitution gives me the right. And the corollary question for many people is, well, just because you're an actor, why should I pay any attention to you? Well, just because I'm an actor, that is no reason to pay attention to me, but I am a human being.
Wood's talented workers whiled away a decade, blacklisted from jobs in the wake of the hearings. Among them were Charlie Chaplin, John Garfield, Will Geer, Larry Parks, Sterling Hayden, Zero Mostel.
They are affected, I think, first of all, because of the mindset that was created, if not before, then certainly during the McCarthy period, so that you don't need an actual blacklist now. If a performer is politically touchy, politically sensitive, the individual producer, the individual director, the individual studio or network will, well, lay back and say, when things blow over, when things blow over. Fortunately, I've gotten my cracks, I've gotten my jobs, and things are okay. But one could always be busy.
In the year of the performers speaking out, 200 stars rallied to the cause when Barbra Streisand called.
I just felt it was time to take responsibility for the world in which I live, and the way that I seem to be able to raise my voice and be heard is to sing. And even though I don't, really like to perform live.
Maybe
Next on Photoplay, the Silver Foxes.
Tonight, it's the season premiere of
Guess Who?
As Rick and AJ get in over their heads, fighting their latest competition.
May the best investigator win.
Oh. Then, on Knots Landing,
Where are you?
Karen's disappearance is tearing her family apart.
Not if you're gonna say it's Mom's fault she was kidnapped or killed.
Where are you? And when every decision counts, you'll want to know someone like her. Because no matter what the sacrifice, she'll be there for you. Kay O'Brien, premiering tonight on CBS.
You got a special kind of smile. You got the knack. You got the style. From A to Z, you got it all. You know you belong. You belong at Gemco.
Get in on the special savings at Gemco's giant 27th anniversary celebration. Your Gemco card saves you more than ever on already low membership prices. Starts Thursday at 8 a.m.
You got the savings, got it all. You know you belong. You belong at Gemco.
This is Lens Crafters, where you can have glasses in about an hour, even bifocals. We don't waste time with a faraway lab like other opticians. At Lens Crafters, we custom grind lenses right in the store. Listen.
I picked my glasses up in less than an hour.
You cannot find a better selection anywhere in town. Nowhere.
It was less than an hour. Fantastic.
LensCrafters, glasses in about an hour. Now in Sherman Oaks at 4520 Van Nuys Boulevard next to Hughes Market.
Time magazine said Pia Zadora has blossomed into a serious singer of pop classics.
You came and caused a spark. That's for a life.
Critics and audiences agree Pia can belt it out. And now she's back at the Beverly Theater in a timeless performance of great standards, with Vincent Falcone conducting the 42-piece orchestra at the Beverly Theater, October 21st and 22nd only.
There are all kinds of clubs for the privileged of Hollywood. One of the most unusual gathered in Los Angeles at a restaurant bearing a famous name.
We are in Covina, California, in front of Pacino's, my establishment. It's a nightclub, a restaurant, etc. We have a lot of people here tonight we're very happy about. The Silver Foxes are here.
They are a group of unusual parents. Harry Hoffman, Jackie Stallone, Pauline Fawcett, Shirley Simmons.
Well, besides the fact that he looks alike, he says, most of the time it's him that says, Dad, I tapped the steering wheel on the car just like you always do. And my hairline is just like yours, and my arms are like yours, and this kind of thing. There's that kind of a thing. He also, when he sees me, I'm all dressed up, he'll say, now that's what a movie star's supposed to look like. I remember one time when he was trying out for the Godfather part. We were on the phone, and I was in the beauty supply business. And he said, Dad, he said, they're ready to sell their grandmothers down the river for a part. And I talked to him, do the best you can, don't leave a stone unturned, and this way, you know, if you get it, it's terrific. If you don't, you know, you do everything that you can, that you could to get it. And I says, and if you don't get it and you get disgusted, you come out here, meaning California, and I'll put you in the beauty supply business, because I had 2 places at the time. And today they kid him, said, no wonder you work so hard. You don't want to go in the beauty supply business.
Like their sons and daughters, the members of the club calling themselves the Silver Foxes have banded together to star in their own film. In this case, it's a video on staying healthy, led by Richard Simmons and featuring a cast whose last names would create a staggering marquee.
Go, and 1, in, 2, side. Let's do that again, and front.
Well, the first picture he made on perfectionism was with John and Mary 17 years ago, in John and Mary, with Mia Farrow, and he played me. He was a furniture designer and a tennis player, and he ran a very meticulous home. And he played me throughout the whole deal. In fact, in Death of a Salesman, he took off on me, too. I was on my way to Europe with my present wife, and I watched Death of a Salesman. At curtain call, he came on with all the others, and we were in the 4th row center, and he saw me. And he motioned me to come up on stage, and I was very embarrassed, and they didn't want to go, but they pushed me up there. At curtain call, people didn't leave their seats. They were so engrossed with the story, they related to it. Mothers, fathers, sons, daughters. And they just sat there glued. A lot of them were in tears. When I got up there, he put his arm around me with a big smile. He says, that's my father, and I put my arm, and he kissed me, and I kissed him. That melted the whole theater, and that, I would say, was the proudest moment of my life.
2, other side. Now we're going to begin our low-impact, non-stress aerobics. Just do it at your own pace. This is going to make your heart beat a little faster and bring the oxygen to your body and make you feel terrific. Let's go.
First Jobs, next on Photoplay.
May Company's Great Fall Sale starts this Friday, 9 a.m. 25 to 33% off. Correct signature knits, 50% off. Fox or mink jackets, 60% off. Glittering 14-karat gold. Hager belt loop polyester slack, just $15.98. 25 to 50% off. Every Sealy Inserta mattress. And this Toshiba remote VHS VCR with HQ, just $299. It's the biggest store-wide sale of the season. A Great Fall Sale starting this Friday, 9 a.m. at May Company.
Friday.
They think we're traitors.
It's a game of Russian roulette.
Kill him, Tony. Dead or alive.
In the conclusion of a two-part Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Then, he's a twin. It was all a dream. He was revived at the last minute. He's an imposter. You've been guessing long enough. Friday, get your friends together and find out the truth.
What the hell's going on there?
What's going on is the 2-hour CBS season premiere of Dallas.
It's hard work being a cop.
LA Police Helicopter 8 to Culver City on Claymars.
When we arrest those guilty of peddling drugs to kids or who sexually assault women and children, they have to be punished. That's only right. And we need people at the top who will back us up. That's why so many sheriffs, police chiefs, and 40,000 peace officers endorsed Lieutenant Governor Leo McCarthy. Leo McCarthy has hung tough with us when it counted the most.
Leo McCarthy, the one who's earned respect.
People across the country are discovering a very special movie, The Boy Who Could Fly.
I came out of the theater really feeling good.
I loved it. It's great.
Definitely worth the price of admission. I thought it was excellent.
Joyous. Fantastic.
It's magical. It's a roller coaster.
It left you with a feeling that dreams can come true.
It just might be the most surprising movie you see this year. The Boy Who Could Fly. Rated PG.
Starts Friday. Check newspapers for theaters.
A last look at the humble beginnings of some of the stars. It's our special survey of how the big break came for people who have become familiar faces on theater and television screens. When you're an aspiring actor waiting for the big break, your first job may not be the perfect role, but the idea is to perform, get experience, and gain exposure.
If people ever watch those old Laugh-Ins, I was one of the dancers on Laugh-In.
Well, I was a dancer for a while. And one time I was buried in the sand in a beach party movie, and I couldn't breathe or move. And I quit, and it didn't matter because I couldn't get out of the sand.
My first professional job was in Brooklyn at the Ebenezer Baptist Church for the Women's Auxiliary Fashion Show, where I danced for them, and they paid me $5, and I knew I was a professional.
I was working at Marineland of the Pacific, and I was writing shows for the theme park and performing in them. And I'd written a show that had me standing on a 16-foot ladder over an enormous pool of water with 2 killer whales in them. And the killer whales at one point would come up and snatch mackerels out of my teeth. I have an aversion to sushi to this day.
One day, my dad was carrying me in his arms in front of Selznick Studios, and in those days, they did a lot of filming outside. So he said, Billy, do a head spin for the director. So I walked up, I stood on my head, I spun around, and the director liked it and put it in the picture. Now, I had to learn how to stand on my head because my arms were so short that I couldn't reach into my pockets to get the change out when I went to the candy store. So by standing on my head, the change would fall out of my pockets, and then I would pick it up from the floor, pay the man, put the rest of the money back in my pocket, and eat the candy.
In showbiz, there is no such thing as instant success. While the first job may not be the ideal one, practice makes perfect.
4 generations of movie fans have laughed at the slapstick antics of the raucous gentleman whose star is right here on Hollywood's Walk of Fame.
The undisputed kings of slapstick had rather lowly beginnings.
Is your name Ted Heel?
No, Ted Healy the name is, not Heel.
The Three Stooges started out as second bananas to vaudeville and Broadway comedian Ted Healy. In 1934, the Stooges broke away from Healy to go out on their own. The trio starred Larry Fine, Moe Howard, and younger brother Curly Howard. Columbia Studios decided to try out the Three Stooges in a few short subjects. Their outrageously violent routines led to the longest-running series of 2 reel comedies in film history.
Hey, any of your clothes on that line? No. And stay out of it. Put that on.
In 1946, when Curly suffered a stroke, his middle brother, Shemp Howard, a successful character actor, replaced him. Then in 1955, when Shemp suffered a fatal heart attack, Fine and Howard brought in a longtime friend from Broadway, Joe Besser, who had already made a name for himself stooging on the Milton Berle Show. And finally, in 1959, a veteran of burlesque, Joe DeRita, known as Curly Joe, joined the group. He remained with the Stooges until their final film in 1965. Through it all, however, audiences always seemed to prefer the original trio.
So don't let this star fool you. In all, there were really 6 Stooges, and all of them were very funny. Lorna Lovett for Photoplay.
Stay tuned for more Photoplay.
Lucky understands that you have better things to do with your time than wait in line at the supermarket. So they've come up with something new. It's called Three's a Crowd, which means that whenever there are 3 people ahead of you in line, another available register will be opened until they're all open. So join the Three's a Crowd time savers at Lucky. After all, you've got better things to do than stand in line.
Most dealers use supplemental stickers and manufacturer-suggested retail stickers to price their inventory. We don't. We use the actual Nissan factory invoice, our cost. Come into Ontario Nissan and ask to see the invoice on the car or truck of your choice. We have over 300 to choose from. Then make us a reasonable offer over the invoice amount, and you've got a deal. We believe we'll sell more Nissans by being honest. Ontario Nissan, 1025 North Mountain Avenue between the San Bernardino and Pomona freeways.
I've now finished my tour through the highways and byways of this peculiar place we call Hollywood. I'm pleased to say that I've had some smiles and a few loving jolts to my memory, venturing through the unseen side of Hollywood. It was fun being a guest host. And for now, this is June Lockhart saying goodbye for Photoplay.
Get on top of the world a half hour earlier. Watch Dan Rather and the CBS Evening News at its new time, weeknights at 6:30, right here on Channel 2.